Okay, so it's actually been a while since I've been here. Um, this is the extinction map, and I'm riding a griffin just because it makes it easier. And it's just gonna be a quick flyby, quick video here. Ahead of us is the nameless city, which is still kind of like an oasis for this place. This, by the way, is future Earth. This is what is left after years and years and years of a very terrible war that was fought with weaponry made and powered by a thing we call element. And it has basically wrecked the world. And more than that, I don't know as you can actually see the moon. It's been a while since, like I said, that I've been here. Um, this is yet another game where the moon has been partially exploded. Um, and we actually no longer have a day-night cycle because the Earth's spin has stopped, its rotation. There's pretty much nothing left here. What you find out by the time you get here, spoiler alert, is that the arcs that you've been playing through are literally just that. Think Noah's Ark. They are orbiting what's left of Earth, and they're meant to be seeds to kind of reseed, repopulate the planet if element is ever cleared from the place. But there's been a problem with that, and because the problem has just been continuing, the programs in place that were meant to cleanse the Earth have been corrupted, basically. And so there is no longer um, a clean copy, so to speak, of anything except what's out there, and even they are also corrupted by element in a lot of places. So this is where the next story starts. Um, what tends to happen is when survivors build past their current arc, they ascend to a different arc, and they start the process all over again. Your eventual goal is to get here, which is not much of a prize because, like I said, this is all that's left of Earth. But you're seeing, like, right behind the city, those two kind of dome-looking things. Kind of hard to see, I suppose, but those are basically habitat zones. And when you're inside them, there's a nice little hologram that fools, I suppose, the things that are living inside there, like the animals that are in there, and the plants are fooled into thinking there's a day-night cycle still, so they keep growing. But once you get past the dome back on the side, it's obvious again that the world is not what it appears to be inside there. Um, but yeah, the glowing red lights you see behind us are basically signal towers that are holding radiation back from this small pocket of not very well off land, but at least you're not literally cooking to death, every minute of every day. And there are apparently little pockets like this, everywhere throughout the what's left of Earth. The survivors that came here before us were actually trying to head to a different one, I believe, because of a signal that they had found, if I recall the lore right. And they fought a very big monster to a standstill, but not to a decisive victory. And so they left to try and do that. But obviously, the big bad is still waiting for you, survivor, to come along and save the world and reseed the planet with the somewhat better animals and plants that are orbiting above us. So, this, like I said, is where the story starts, and there's a forbidden zone that holds the King Titan that you are eventually going to have to fight. But this, like I said, is kind of one of the small pockets of somewhat habitable land that's left, and it's the city. And the city has a shield up over it to help with the meteor strikes that are happening constantly, presumably because of the fact that the moon has been partially exploded. Um, and this is a close-up of one of the obelisks that Cody was so fascinated by. It's not quite the same as the ones you see elsewhere on the other islands, or on the other arcs, I should say, because this is like a prototype, basically. and so it doesn't have the interface at the bottom that lets you connect to it. So it's a prototype, it's a primitive version, but that's basically what they look like up close. And I should probably show you some corrupted creatures so that you know what I'm talking about. This it's like right here, you've got nice normal rocks, nice normal plants, but once you get outside, you've got, you know, corrupted everything, and including corrupted creatures. And the sad part is that I always want to like save all the non-corrupted anythings, even if it's trying to eat me at the time, because at least it's not corrupted. And I feel like, you know, I should be doing the you know, save the remainders of everything that's left, tame them, and hide them away somewhere safe. But you really can't feasibly do that for an entire planet, sadly enough. So, if you're wondering, yes, the eventual goal is to bring everyone here and complete the cycle and save what's left of Earth. So this is what corruption. This is what it looks like when element gets to things. These were at one point normal plants. Obviously they're not now, and I'm honestly just waiting for like a Reaper King to like just, you know, pounce up out of the earth and, you know, attack us. But if that happens, well then it'll be a nice object lesson. A little worried about the fact that I haven't been here for so long that I can't quite remember what all the danger signs are anymore. And it's a little odd that there's nothing around. There's usually animals everywhere. And I'm lagging like crazy. This is my single player game and it's not happy with me because I'm not on the server, I'm guessing. I'm not quite sure where all the animals are. Actually, it is really weird. There's no animals. Excuse me while I dive. And there's another pocket, actually. Underground is fairly safe. There's some animals. Beavers! You won't find anything corrupted down here, I don't believe. It's only up there in the wasteland, if you will. And the stuff above us is, again, you've been seeing these things all through the arcs. And I want to say the implication is that this, again, is element. It has taken over, it has rooted itself, and it has started to grow. The interesting thing about element is that it is technically an element, but it's also technically alive. Think Genova. But and it honestly kind of has, if I remember right, the same sort of origin story, because I want to say no one's quite sure where it came from. It's just here, and people learned how to harness it, and it really wants to be harnessed because as you use it, it spreads, basically. So it has, I guess, tempted people into using it more often. First for like, oh wow, this amazing, you know, power source, and it can improve our lives. You've heard this story before, right? So many ways. And then of course it was, oh hey, we can weaponize this. Let's do that. And of course it went to hell afterwards. So yeah, I'm actually like now I'm looking for bad things to come and attack me because I want to show you what it looks like, and I can't find anything bad to attack me. And Peg will tell you this is just how it goes. If she were here, literally every bad thing on the map would be converging and trying to eat her, whereas I can like run past, you know, an entire pack of Allosauruses and they just look the other way. So yeah. But anyway, so this is where the story starts. This beautiful wasted landscape, filled with sharp edges, and ordinarily nasty mean things trying to eat you, but for some reason the nasty mean things trying to eat you are taking a vacation. Yeah, so this is what Earth looks like now. We're not exactly certain how many hundreds, I think, of years in the future this is. It's far enough the future for humanity to have like formed factions. I want to say around like colonization. I could be wrong. Um, but again, it's been a while since I've actually looked at the lore for this place, and but yeah, it's very 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 far in the future, um, and it did not go well. My theory, of course, given a wider cosmic civilization than just our lonely attempts here at staying afloat, would be that the rest of the cosmos would really like it if we kept our icky space herpes to ourselves and quarantined the planet to keep element from spreading because it tends to do that. And so anyone who was stuck here is stuck here, and that's the tack I'm going with. Is that anyone who is left behind for whatever reason has no other options at this point. They are in the cycle, they're in the loop, and they're not getting out. So this is ruined Earth, strangely quiet. There really ought to be about 100 million creatures running around out here, and I'm really not sure why there isn't. But thank God it's just my single player testing game and not actually the server game that I downloaded and promptly lost because I've got too many computers and too many places that I'm storing things. So that's why it was rather an eventful thing, is because this is really just a test map that I had going, and I actually downloaded this Griffin from the terminals because I had her uploaded. And anyway, so that's an overview of the quick introduction, I suppose, that we'll be making to this place before we move on to the other map, which I shall do now. And thank you for watching, and sorry it was a little boring.